Hello, welcome to yet another session of interrogating the Occupational Safety and Health Act. Today, we will be looking at two parts of the Act. The first one is Part 6, which talks about health general provisions. And then the last part will be Part 10, which talks about welfare general provisions. So we will start with health general provisions, and here you have several of them outlined. Under Section 47, we have cleanliness. Section 48, we have overcrowding. Section 49, we have ventilation. And Section 50 talks about lighting. And 51 talks about drainage of floors. And Section 52 talks about sanitary convenience. So we'll just talk through very quickly. On cleanliness, the workplace is expected to be kept clean from litter, dust, and other waste, such that the place can be utilized without any effects on the health of the workers. So it's just basic, ensuring that there's enough procedures and provisions for cleaning within the workplace. Then the next one is about overcrowding, and this is just to ensure that workers are working in conditions where there is no overcrowding, there's enough space for every worker. The OSHA Act recommends 11 cubic meters. That is when you are calculating the volume for one staff. But of course, when it comes to height, the maximum you can use for calculation is 3 meters. So that is the recommended space, which has been a big challenge for many organizations, especially town-based, due to the obvious reasons of availability of space. On ventilation, the Act recommends that we have adequate ventilation, preferably natural. So this calls for designing the workplace before you even build. You need to put measures to ensure natural ventilation can be achieved. If not, then you may need to mechanize or have ways of providing ventilation. Adequate lighting, which does not cause glare, needs also to be provided at the workplace, just to ensure staff are able to work in places that are well lit to avoid accidents and incidents. And as well as the light do not need to harm the staff by way of glare. So we have recommended levels of lighting in offices that needs to be followed by every workplace. On drainage of floors, it's quite simple. On workplaces where we have wet processes, maybe like dairies, slaughterhouses, you are required to ensure that the floors can drain naturally. Once you wash them or there's a lot of wet processes around, the water should be able to drain effectively. The other thing that you need to provide under the health general provisions is sanitary convenience. These are toilets. They should be adequate for men and women. The law insists that you have sanitary conveniences for the different sexes at the workplace. And these ones, you must have a different entry to the gents and to the ladies. You can't have one door then separating them. It must be different entries for them. You must label them. That is very key. Though it gives an exemption where you can have one toilet for both sexes if the workplace is designed in a way that the people working there are family members. Then you can be allowed to have a unisex toilet. So when we move then to Part 10 of the Welfare General Provisions, Section 91 talks of supply of drinking water. Section 92 talks of washing facilities. Section 93 talks of accommodation for clothing. And Section 94 talks of facilities for sitting. So we just review each one of them very, very briefly. You are required to supply wholesome potable drinking water to the staff at work. This is not a favor. This is a requirement of the law that the staff must be provided with water so that they can keep hydrating themselves at work. You need to have washing facilities where staff can, take a bath after a shift if the work is in such a way that there's some contamination or just dirt, then they need to wash. Even just general provisions for ensuring they can wash their hands as regularly as possible, provision of sinks in strategic places. So that is very key. Accommodation for clothing is another important thing that a workplace needs to have for their staff. These are workplaces where naturally workers will need to change from home cloth to work cloth and then vice versa in the evening. So you need to provide accommodation for clothing where they can keep their clothing safely and under lock and key. Then they can again pick them in the evening. There's an interesting one, facilities for sitting. The law provides that at work you need to provide facilities for sitting, especially for those jobs where the work requires a worker to do the job while standing. So you need to provide some facilities for sitting so that staff can take advantage whenever there is an opportunity to sit, then they can sit and rest. So that is just about it. A very brief interrogation of this OSHA Act, part by part. So we have adequately handled Part 6 on health general provisions and Part 10 on welfare general provisions. Keep tuning in, and we will continue having short sessions of interrogating this Act. Our main objective is to make our workplaces even safer. God bless you.